In today's video, let's examine why having no contact with some family members may be one of the most difficult things you've ever done, but also one of the most freeing and best things you've ever done. In this video, I'm not going to focus on what may bring somebody to want to have no contact with family members, but I just want to look specifically at what having no contact is like. And the reason this is important because people base a lot on this decision, whether to have contact or no contact, on whether it feels good. Well, no, initially perhaps not. You're going against what other extended family may be telling you what to do. And on the flip side, there's societal pressure sometimes coming our way. Also, let's not forget the pressure we put on ourselves, the person who wants to have no contact. We know why we're doing it. We know that we need to do it. We need to have a healthy boundary with somebody toxic in our life. But then there's the pressure we put on ourselves. Am I being a bad son? Am I being a horrible daughter? What's wrong with me? When of course there's really nothing wrong with you, but you may be internalizing it based on feeling that you're doing something wrong because you have guilt. I wasn't trained or taught to stand up for myself. I wasn't taught to have a backbone. I wasn't taught to put me first. I wasn't taught to do what's best for me and my best interest. I wasn't taught to advocate for myself. I was taught to be wishy-washy, to just go along with children should be seen and not heard. I wasn't raised to have a voice, and right now I'm having a voice. I'm setting up no contact, which means I must have a voice here. I'm not supposed to set up healthy boundaries. In fact, I didn't even witness any healthy boundaries in my home. My parents were abusive. My family was overly enmeshed. We never talked about feelings. There was no safe space for that. And so with what I just mentioned, when somebody sets up no contact now, they may be their own worst enemy because they're talking through the childhood conditioning, the childhood brainwashing that there's not supposed to be a them there. Well, to set up no contact with toxic family members, there has to be a you there. So that's so healthy, but it's also going to trigger that old conditioning, those old feelings. So just know that in advance. Know that if you find yourself wondering, did I do the right thing? More than likely, it's because you're working through some of these feelings I just mentioned. You're countering the childhood conditioning. The only way to counter the childhood conditioning is to explore and face and talk about and process the childhood conditioning. So you have to realize that just by virtue of the fact that you are aware that you need to have no contact with some family members or friends perhaps, for you to reach this point means you've been trampled on somehow, either emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever it is. So now you've reached your breaking point. You don't want to be treated like a doormat anymore, but that does not exclude the fact that some of the old conditioned feelings will come up and make you question yourself. So just know that, and you can brush it off. It's like a gnat that's on your shoulder that's just sort of irritating you. Just brush it away and continue to tolerate whatever those feelings are, and then move ahead behaviorally with what you need to do, what's in your best interest. And then once you've established the no contact, it gets easier and easier and easier as time goes on. Time is on your side. With time, you'll have even more of a clear perspective where you see how you were trampled on growing up, where you see how you were abused or used or scapegoated or neglected or taken advantage of on some level, or beat up or molested or verbally abused, and on and on and on. You'll have more perspective on realizing, wow, thank goodness I got away when I did. But just know that there's a process to it because you're making a big shift in your life and you're not used to doing healthy things for yourself. You're used to tolerating the crap, and now you're getting used to what it feels like to advocate and do healthy things for yourself. It's very different from your childhood. And of course, as I call it when I work with clients in my private practice, the parents, but it could be friends, extended family, whoever, may up the ante. I like the term up the ante because now they see that you really are making steps to clear a path for yourself in your own way, forge ahead in your life in a healthy manner. And now they see you're really doing it. They can't believe it. He or she is really finding a backbone. They're actually willing to take some risks and improve their life. Well, how dare they? And the reason they feel how dare they is because now they have to look inward at their own stuff. Everybody has roles usually in families where there's some unhealthy dynamics, and everybody has to play their part, play their role. Well, when somebody breaks free of the role and now is modeling and showing the rest of the family, hey, I'm not playing in this anymore. I'm actually going to go out and live a healthy life. Then the other family members still trapped at home don't know what to do with that. How dare they display healthy emotion here? How dare they do something that's in the best interest of themselves? I mean, you can almost laugh at that, right? Because it's so ironic and it's so sad. It's sad and extremely scary for the family members left behind because now they have nowhere to look but inward. And they're probably going to battle that because to look inward means you'd have to explore and break through all the denial, all the repressed feelings, all the unhealthy coping mechanisms that you've had if you're a parent, let's say, to abuse one of your own children. People don't want to look at that. They find ways to avoid that, but sometimes they have to when the child pulls back and says no more. So in the upping of the ante, they may come and knock on your door at random times. You may get more texts on how their life is falling apart without you, more drama, more late night phone calls, more emails, whatever it is, they can come up with all kinds of stuff. By you doing this, things are falling apart over here. Your aunt is now sick because of what you're doing. She wasn't sick a few weeks ago. Your father just had a heart attack based on what you're doing. Your sister is just crying. She won't leave her bedroom because she misses you so much. Please come home. Or even, don't ever come back. I don't want to ever see you again. But either which way, it's all an act. It's all done as a way to control you, the one who's left. It's very fear-based behavior, right? There's nothing there that says, good luck, have a wonderful life. I wish you well. Go on and take on the world. I know you can do it. You can do anything you want in life. You're not getting any of that, right? You're getting how horrible you are and how you're going to fail. Another red flag about why you need to be what you are doing indeed. If you're the child who's pulled yourself out of this toxicity and you've established no contact, congratulations to you. And now do everything from I statement, from you, what's best for you. So if indeed you ever want to reestablish contact, it's when you want to, when you're ready, on your terms, perhaps in a safe place, a neutral place. You set up any and all boundaries you want. So you get to set all the terms and boundaries in what's in your best interest. Remember, you're leaving the old role, the old unhealthy family dynamics, and your other family members are not going to like that. I know for myself in my life, back when I was in my 30s, I had to establish no contact with my mother for about, I think it was about 6 months. I'm not saying this is necessarily going to apply to you, but I will say from me, with the most honesty that I could muster up, is that when I established the no contact, it was wonderful. It was such a breath of fresh air in my life. It was such a relief to just let go of all that negative energy around me. That was my experience. I don't necessarily know if it'll be yours. And contact was reestablished about 6 months later when my mother came crawling back and met all my terms of how I would move forward and what would need to happen for me to move forward. Sometimes we have to indeed shift the power in relationships. We have to be willing to draw that line in the sand. We have to advocate for ourselves because if we don't, nobody else is going to do it and we will pay a price our whole life. Nobody else but ourselves. And that will primarily happen in us feeling like an ongoing doormat. So if you're feeling at all like a doormat in your life, that's a big red flag for you. So, short little video about no contact. I hope it's helpful to some of you. Maybe you are thinking about having a no contact rule in your life. Always remember to do what's in your best interest. Please leave me some comments below. I'd love to hear any thoughts you may have about this topic. Please subscribe to my mental health YouTube channel if you like these kind of videos. And until next week, this is Brad Shore signing off from Ask a Shred.